Hi everyone, today I'm really excited because we've got Gerard Bini from Australia who's going to talk about some amazing orgone products, and I'm going to leave it to him to explain. Just to say, the first time I experienced them was when I walked into my colleague Clara's house, and it felt like being in nature, and I wondered what was going on. And I've been a convert ever since. So I'm going to, Gerard, would you explain to me what is it about your products that they seem to do what everybody claims their products do, but they really do them? Really do it.
I think it's partly because of the knowledge base I have. I'm an intuitive building biologist, so I've been involved in this work for at least 15 years, and prior to that I worked within the construction industry. So I have a quite a vast knowledge of structures and houses, and have built up a huge knowledge bank over the years of what energies are affecting us in our houses. And it's not just your Wi-Fi, it's not just your electrical radiation, it's not just your digital TV, it's more, there's much more to it. There's all different types of earth radiation due to the radioactive matter in the ground, which is everywhere around the world.
Right.
It's also the worst creators of radiation are us humans. Right. That's called bioplasmic radiation. And
you mean literally us as humans? You're not talking now about equipment.
No, us as humans.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they call bioplasmic radiation. And so, to explain that better, if you are living in a house where someone is physically unwell, so let's say they have a liver problem, a liver disease, or emotionally unwell, let's say someone is depressed all the time and may have a heart and pancreas issue too behind that.
Right.
The longer they are in those houses, the longer their body is emotionally and physically distressed, the organs that are diseased are producing a radiation field around the body.
Wow.
That radiation field leaks into the space and becomes an electromagnetic imprint in space. And so after a period of time, that leaking of dirty energy into the space of the house accumulates. Right. And really brings the energy of the house down.
So someone, when you move into a house, and you know this, I've noticed this for a long while, that if you move into a house where certain types of things happened, the same type of things tend to happen for you. And it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll give you a good example would be, and this has been well documented, I think, by Dulwich over there many years ago. You take it to a more finite situation. Look at the bedroom situation. When someone who is diseased emotionally or physically, where they sleep, they create an even stronger, denser field of etheric matter, which is it leads to radiation field, so-called, from their body. That person, say, moves out of that house, and you move into that house, and you go and sleep in your bed in the same position where their bed was. You're sleeping in their electromagnetic imprint of all the frequencies and all the information, or what their illnesses were. So then you take on, or may take on, the exact emotional symptoms or physical symptoms of their emotional or physical illness. And you can take that to a broader scale. Let's say, in Australia we had what happened to the Australian Aboriginals, which was they're all done away with in a horrible manner, a horrible situation. So a lot of Australia has bioplasmic imprints of depression,
right,
and anger, right, over large areas of the countryside. And when people who are sensitive to those emotions, when they move into those areas, that triggers that emotion within the person, and they become depressed, they become aggressive.
Right.
In the UK, I do a lot of Google Earth readings for lots of people in the UK over the years. And what they take the Great Depression, First and Second World War,
right. Wow.
Political, not so good politicians coming afterwards, causing a huge amount of oppression and depression, and large areas of the UK, like the cities, are covered with depression, bioplasmic energy.
Yeah, I mean, conversations with friends, so we know that it's kind of this malaise in Britain. I mean, obviously you have these different types of malaises in different countries, but there's one very particular to Britain, and a lot of people have talked about it. You know, we've agreed a lot of it is a remnant of the Second World War. Yeah, and I just thought it was, kind of a psychological thing, but This seems a much quicker way of clearing it.
Well, see, in the Geocleanse, the home harmonizer, because I have this knowledge base and an understanding of how to produce a harmonizer that has counter frequencies to neutralize or dissolve the bioplasmic imprints, the Geocleanse is actually clearing them. And they're the radiation fields or the energy fields that most people are sensitive to.
Right.
And they'll cover. It's not like, say, for example, your Wi-Fi, your wireless router, which has creates an electromagnetic field of about a metre all the way around it, although you will pick up a radio frequency wave further away from it. The bioplasmic radiation covers the whole house, the whole suburb, the whole building.
Yeah.
It's not just localised in the corner, and if you stay away from it, it's not going to affect you. It's everywhere through, all pervasive.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you mentioned the Second World War. Well, what happened in the Second World War in London? Lots of spots. And so then you have quite a strong bioplasmic radiation.
Oh, that explains so much. That explains so much. I mean, I personally feel it in London. There's something that really upsets me. I used to think it was just because it's a city, but I'm okay in some other cities that are bigger than London, in fact, and busier.
Well, there's another form of bioplasmic that you may feel in London, especially in the retail areas and business areas. That's another energy called negative psychic impression, and it is a term used in building biology.
Wow.
And that is, let's say, for example, in shopping centres are a classic.
Yeah.
You might have Jenny, the hairdresser, at one end, and Julie, the hairdresser, moves in a couple of weeks later. Well, Jenny doesn't like Julie being there.
Yeah.
So Jenny's emotional state and emotional charge creates a psychic attack energy aimed at Julie down the road, and it becomes an electromagnetic field that fills all of Jenny's hairdressing salon, so no one goes in there because she's angry and upset.
Yeah.
And it's an energy line, like an earth magnetic grid line in a sense, that goes straight to Julie's shop down the road, and Julie's shop is covered with this dirty negative psychic impression energy. So none of them get any business. But shopping centres and business centres are full of bioplasmic radiation of negative psychic impression from the people working within the building not liking each other. The workers not liking what the boss does and so on and so forth. Or the competitors, the competitor down the road or the competitor upstairs or downstairs or in another town.
This completely makes sense. As soon as you explain it.
Are very, 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 very sensitive to that energy.
And so this could go on. You could go on year after year after year.
Yeah, it accumulates, gets worse and worse and worse until something comes along and changes that energy. It dissolves the bioplasmic imprint.
For sure, people will flock to shops and cafes where the energy is better, and they may not even realise why they're doing that.
Yeah, great for business. Even ourselves, like when we do it, even when we do our expos ourselves. Like for example, we do a conference on the Sunshine Coast called Nexus Conference, run by Nexus magazine. And every time we go there, when we're setting up for the exhibition part of the conference, our competitors over the back corner there, they've already shot a negative psychic impression into our stand when we get there. And we read it as a bit of a joke when we get there and go, we know who doesn't like us being there.
Yeah.
So to fix that, we just plug our Geocleanse in and it's all completely dissolved.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, when we do Mind, Body, Spirit expos, which are quite big, and there's lots of exhibitors, we observe before we set up, who doesn't like who, because there's all these energy lines running around the building, and you can actually tell the direction they come from by using your palm as an energy reader against the energy line. You can actually tell which direction the force is coming from.
So you actually do readings for locations, don't you?
Yes, I do, yes.
And you can do that from a distance, yeah?
I use Google Earth for that. Prior to that, many years ago, before Google Earth came along, people would send me a map of their house, and you would what they call map dowse or map read the house.
Yeah.
Google's fantastic because it's showing you everything in plan view, which is basically map view. You may not see the bedrooms, but you can get a general idea of actually what's actually going on there.
So if people want to have a reading for their house or premises? How would they go about it? How would they contact
Just
you?
just email me, or they can contact you, and if you give me their details, I can get the reading back to you.
Brilliant. And you do courses in Australia?
Yeah, I run a one-day, I call it Introduction to Intuitive Building Biology, and I really stress the intuitive because in my consultancy work, I don't use Gauss meters and I don't use radio frequency meters. Right. And the reason for that is that the Gauss meters, which read electrical radiation, are dangerously inaccurate. They will not read an imprinted field. A Gauss meter will not pick up what comes from a digital TV. A radio frequency meter will give you high readings no matter where you go, but a radio frequency isn't qualifying the energy. So they're both very inaccurate in a sense. They're good in a sense for just a general broad idea of what's going on in the space, but it's not qualifying anything. Whereas what I do is I teach people to use their born intuitive skills, which they haven't opened up or they want to open up.
Can anyone do this?
Oh, you can. Like I use tools like I don't have one with me here. A biotensor is probably, to me, one of the best energy reading tools around. And the biotensor was designed early last century, I think, by a German physicist. Right. Another tool I use is a Lecker antenna. I think that was also designed by the Germans. And Lecker antenna is revered as being quite a scientific instrument. It does take intuitive skills to use it and knowledge, but they're the tools I prefer to use. However, the tools are only crutches, they're only visuals. I can read just by using my jaw to muscle test. I use my palm, or just by looking at an image, I can pick up the energy, because every image is made up of different frequencies depending on the colour, what the imagery is, the energy of the imagery from the very beginning. And so you build up a picture of what's going on. So with Google, I'll say, look for bioplasmic radiation. Has someone died there? Is there depression? Is there anger? Is it over the whole area? Is it just the house? Are there any major grid lines, earth magnetic grid lines? Are there water veins there? What's in the soil? Like, what's in the soil is really important. You may have coal or a lot of uranium, and if you've got a lot of coal and a lot of uranium in the soil, that's creating gamma, and those two materials, as we know, are radioactive. Yeah. And that's causing a huge amount of geopathic stress in the body. Then from there, you look for illness imprints, like has someone had a diseased liver or pancreas or heart? Is there an emotional stuff going on there? Are there imprints in the beds? In things like digital TV creates electromagnetic field in front of it up to about 200 metres, and the governments around the world are in denial of that. Yeah. You know, how many of your neighbours' digital TV beam energies are coming through your house. Right. And with digital TV, you can turn the TV off and the energy is still there, however, not as heavy as when the TV is still on.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing that people often feel, well, I'll turn my computer off at night, I'll turn my Wi-Fi off at night. But, you know, we're all affected by our neighbours. And, I mean, especially a country like Britain, because we all live so close together.
That's the other problem. So everyone's virtually on top of each other.
Yeah.
But Wi-Fi is an interesting one. Like, there's a huge fear of Wi-Fi all over the world at the moment. And some of the stuff I read by so-called experts, and they're not experts, they're shoot from the hip researchers. Yeah. And some of the stuff I read about Wi-Fi, you know, poor old Wi-Fi has been shot in the head 1,000 times. Wi-Fi is not as bad as what everyone's making out to be, however.